Well, boys and girls, welcome to Bear Moto. Thought I'd take the bike to work today. I don't know, recently, there's been quite a few motorcycle accidents, both obviously on and off the track, and a lot of people have asked me about my thoughts on the fact that you are getting on such a potent machine that could potentially end your life. And I don't know, like, for me, bikes are a totally different thing for me. Like, it's a family tradition, I guess. All my uncles rode, my great uncles rode, my grandfather rode, my cousins ride. It just comes down to, for me, as easy as breathing. I might not be the most accomplished rider, but it's definitely something that is in my blood, and I'm lost without riding. Like, up here in Queensland, we haven't had any sun for the last 4 days, so I haven't been able to go for a ride on my weekend. So today, even though, as you can see, the roads are wet, it's not raining, so I figured I'd make the most of it on my way to work. So that's why I'm taking the R1 today. As you can see, the high beam on the R1 is absolutely piss useless. But then again, they were an afterthought. So yeah, recently, a couple of guys, a guy I know, who I've recently been starting to get to know, just through general chat and love of bikes, he had a motorcycle accident and he died. I feel really, really bad for his family, but in the same breath, I knew what his passion was for life and bikes. Like, he had a 2015 R1 as well, and yeah, he definitely I'd like to believe that he went out happy doing what he loved. Granted, I'm sure no one wants to go out at all, but I know personally, for me, if I had a choice, I'd go out on the bike, quick and nasty. But again, that's just my personal want and believe. Like, for me, my mum, she's just recovered from lung cancer, so she just finished a treatment for that about 2 months ago, and then she went for a scan a fortnight ago, and they found out last week that she has now got a spot on her liver. So I straight away think of, there's a YouTube video called "This Could Be Your Last Ride," and I straight away thought of that. I'll put the link in the description. And the clip just, in all honesty, touched me, because like, I've had mates, like one of my best friends, he died at 21 from a heart attack. He had heart disease from a younger age, and it was very common in his family. And he was working a night shift. He was a manager at Macca's, and next thing you know is he's gone. And that hit me pretty hard. Like, he was my best friend through high school. We were in a band together. He was an all-round nice guy. Like, he was certainly no angel, but he was a top bloke. And so I guess for me, I see people who go out with diseases or sickness or illness, as much as I'm sure that is most likely the most common death that there ever is in the world today. I know I'd much prefer to go out on what I'm doing, what I love. Like, granted, my fiance, she would not like me saying this at all. That's partly why she doesn't follow my channel. But I don't know, my mentality on death and life and motorcycling is totally different to most others. Like, I see a lot of bike accidents come down to everyone pushing their bike, and granted, it's fun to push your bike. It's always good to test your skill, but it's always you got to know you have that skill to begin with. And like for me, like, I have chicken strips on my bike. I'm not ashamed to say that. Purely because I don't want to bend the bike, but to me, I'd rather just go out and enjoy the ride than trying to push getting the complete tyre wear out of the tyre. And in all honesty, I don't reckon I'd be able to. But then again, you can test it in controlled conditions, and as we saw at Laguna Seca, doesn't really make a difference where you are. If your time's up, your time's up, and that's unfortunate. And I'm not taking away from anything. Like, it was a freak accident. I think there's a quote from a movie. I'm not exactly sure which one. I think it might actually be National Treasure 2 or something like that. And it's the debt that all men pay. And it is. Because regardless of how you're born, regardless of your life, or regardless of what you have experienced in your life, or what you have in your life before you die, at the end of the day, you could be the richest man in the world and you're still the poorest at the end. You still go to the grave with what you came in. And a lot of people don't see that. Like, I know personally for me, I have my toys. Like, I've got the R1, I've got PlayStation guitars here and that. If I have the choice, I'd take the R1 with me, but I don't think I'd have that choice. But it's definitely a lot of people have this invincibility about them that they think, alright, it will never happen to me, it will never be my time, I'm going to live forever. And in this case, like in every case, you're wrong. You are going to die. There's no two ways about it. There's no ifs or buts. You have nothing more than what you came into this world. You don't take anything more out. The only factor is you leave a bigger impact. So, at the end of the day, for me, I guess, it's not what I get out of this world, but what I can put in and leave the biggest footprint. If you're remembered, then, and if you're remembered for the right thing, then you've done your job. You've done what you wanted to do. You wanted to create your invincible aspect of life. You'll never be forgotten if you become more than what you are. If you become more than what you are, if you start doing things for other people, they don't even have to be the greatest impact. Like, just listening to someone could actually change their world. And again, it depends on what aspect you want to go. Like, if you have the means to be a greater human and help as many people as you can, then go for it. But at the end of the world, it doesn't matter if you change 100 lives, as long as you change one in your lifetime, then you're fine. You have left your mark on the world, and you have actually you have helped it. I always see life as a bit of a burden in that regard, because fuck. Over there, alright? No one in the car. Yeah. So, like, for me, like, I see it as, for example, my mum, she was a community worker working for one of the church community programs. Well, first off the bat, like, my family and I, we're not religious. I think we're closer to atheists than anything else. We do believe in a heaven and a hell, but anyways. So yeah, she was working for a community program trying to help prevent homelessness. And in that community program, she'd have people come in and they'd need everything. Like, there was, for example, she worked during the floods, and that's potentially where she got her cancer from. And they didn't have a fridge, they didn't have clothes on they just had the clothes on their back. They didn't have anything more than that. And so my mum would go out and help them, and even to this day, like, she doesn't work for that community program anymore. And there's this old fellow near where she lives, and like, I guess he reminds her of my grandfather, but they haven't been coming to check, they haven't been looking after him, all the community programs that he's involved with, in terms of what to get support, haven't been doing their due diligence and haven't been doing their job. So the last time my mum was in Bundaberg, which was about a week ago, she went and saw him, and with that, it was just during the cold snap that the southeast was having, and so with that, she went over to see if he was okay. He has no family, he has no one at all. And so my mum went over to see if he was okay, and if he was see how he was, and being how cold it was, my mum asked if he had enough warm clothes and enough blankets, and he brought out this one crocheted blanket, which I'm guessing his wife crocheted, and that in turn made my mum so angry. It was good to see that she had a fight back in her. So yeah, at the end of the day, I guess one person, if you could have $1 million, but if you're not a good person, what kind of memory of yourself are you leaving? I guess that's what I take out of life in that regard. Is my grandfather, for example. Like, my family aren't the richest by any means. Like, my fiance and I, we're probably the most comfortable out of my whole family. And like my grandfather, he wasn't the richest man in the world, but if you needed something, he'd get it for you. And I guess in that regard, he made a bigger impact on his kids and his grandkids than just being a grandfather. So yeah, back to the main point of life and death on motorcycles. I honestly, I would like to go, given the choice, but we're rarely given that choice, aren't we? So, in that regard, I'd say I'd like to go doing what I love, but in the same breath, I'd like to stay here with my family. But I would hate to be laid up in a bed somewhere, knowing it tomorrow might be your last day, or today might be your last day, or in an hour you might be gone. For me, it's just respect to the machine. A lot of people get undone by just not respecting the bike that they're on. You've always got to have respect for the bike, because at the end of the day, you'll never be able to ride that bike to 100% capacity. Unless you're Valentino Rossi or Casey Stoner. Or Marc Marquez, if he's on the 2014 bike anyway. So, yeah. So this is my lovely ride to work. I rarely actually take the bike to work, purely for the fact that I have a work car. But seeing today is a Saturday, I thought, well, why the hell not? Yeah. Normally, if the roads were dry, it'd be a little bit more fun than what it has been. So, but I also get to sit back and have a chat to you, friendly people, and have a somewhat morbid conversation, but I think it was a conversation that I had to have, given the fact that, like I said, like a fella I knew from the Yamaha forums, he passed. Unfortunately, he passed on a motorcycle, and he was doing what he loved, but in the same breath, I feel very sad for his family and his loved ones. It's the same with a mate of mine. His dad just got killed. They just buried him not so long ago. And for me, it's sad because I've never lost someone I've held a lot of love for on a motorcycle. I've lost a few friends here and there, or people I may have known, and you do kind of take a step back, but at the end of the day, you never know which day is your last, and you never know what your next moment, what your next day is going to hold. Like, a friend of mine, he passed away earlier this year. He went over to Canada to get married. The day of his wedding, he passed away. You just never know what's going to happen. So, with that, I just say pretty much, live your life how you best see fit. And be as good a person as you can be. That's all you can do. Anyways, have a nice day, mates.